I want to welcome everyone to the 13th annual Italian American Heritage Ceremony here in Cleveland City Hall. I'd ask those who are mingling around to take their seat, and we're going to start this program. My name's Matt Zone, and I'm fortunate to serve this city as one of its elected council members, and I want to welcome you all here into, thank you. I want to welcome you here into your house. I just work here. This is City Hall. This is the people's house. And so thank you for coming here. It's a fitting way to kick off the month of October, which is the Italian American Heritage Month, designated by an act of Congress in 1992. And Mayor Jackson and the council has graciously opened up this place for now 13 consecutive years, where the first Monday in October, we kick off a month long of celebrations of our Italian heritage, but we felt it was fitting that we begin that celebration right here in Cleveland City Hall. So welcome all, and will you please give a warm welcome to the chair of our committee, Pamela D'Orazio Dean.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate you putting your faith in me to run this committee. It has been a pleasure. I've been the chair of the committee for the last 3 years. Really, what makes this committee work is the members of the committee, and we'll be recognizing them shortly. But first, we want to open with a prayer from Father Marty Polito with Holy Redeemer Church.
Good evening. When you said about this is our house, it makes me think of John 14, when in the gospel it says, my Father's house there are many dwelling places. Otherwise, how could I have tell you that I was going to prepare a place for you? Tonight we come together from many different places, a journey even from another country, to come and to celebrate the power of life and love shared. And so we begin tonight through the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. O Lord our God, as we join together a month of celebration of our heritage and our pride, Italian Americans, one and all, that we come bringing our memories, our motivations, our stories, our experience that we desire to share with others, not only from our lips, but with our lives. We thank you for those who we come to honor today, for the gifts of their story that have unfolded, especially in a mission of building up the household of the city of Cleveland. Help us this day to realize that we and all people are a part of this wondrous building up of peoples for the goodness and the glory of God and the dignity, the quality, and the celebration of life for all people. May we be attentive and joyful this night as we join together. We ask this all through Christ our Lord. Amen.
And now we're going to hear the anthem from Italy and the United States. So please join me in welcoming back Solon High School junior swing and jazz soloist Giovanni Castiglione, who will sing the Italian national anthem. And for the singing of the U.S. national anthem, Giovanni will be joined by Kyle Fisher, Brandon Zlotnick, and Hollis Wilson. Together, they are known as the award-winning quartet Wing It. Please stand.
Fratelli d'Italia, l'Italia se desta, dell'elmo discipio se cinta la testa, dove la vittoria le porga la chioma, che schiava di Roma, in Dio la creò. Fratelli d'Italia, l'Italia se desta, dell'elmo discipio se cinta la testa, dove la vittoria le porga la chioma, che schiava di Roma, in Dio la creò. Stringiamoci a corte, siamo pronti alla morte, l'Italia chiamò. Stringiamoci a corte, siamo pronti alla morte, l'Italia chiamò, sì! Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, land of the free, and the home of the
That was awesome. Thank you, gentlemen. And now I would like to welcome Mayor Frank G. Jackson, who is the honorary co-chair of this committee, to greet us with a few words.
Good evening. I want to, first of all, welcome everyone to the Rotunda City Hall and the 13th Annual Italian Heritage Day celebration here at the City of Cleveland. Congratulations to all those who will be recognized this evening, and a special thanks to the committee and those who actually made this happen. These kind of things don't happen on their own. It really takes a lot of hard work by a lot of people, so I want to thank the committee. I do have a proclamation, and this proclamation says, I'm going to read it all. On behalf of the citizens of the city of Cleveland, I am honored to offer this proclamation designating October 1st through October 31st, 2018 as Italian Heritage Month in the city of Cleveland. And I want to thank the Italian community for all the work that you've done to make this a great city. And those who will be recognized tonight are just examples of that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Jackson. It has been an honor and a pleasure serving as chair of the committee once again. What makes the work so enjoyable are the wonderful and supportive members of the Cleveland Italian American Heritage Committee. So before we proceed further, I want to take a moment to acknowledge them. Please hold your applause until they have all been announced. Tom Antonello, please stand. Cornell Calhoun III, Dennis Castiglione, Kelly Falcone Hall, Mario Fiorito Jr., Robert Lapucci, Joseph Marinucci, Serena Scaiola, Angie Spitaleri, and Rose Zatello. Let's have a round of applause for all the hard work they've done. The most important and challenging job of this committee is the selection of the honorees. I say challenging because we receive nominations for individuals who are all outstanding, and that makes selecting just one for each category tough. So for this coming year, I encourage you to please nominate. We will get the forms out soon. You could also nominate on our website. The individuals on our committee are all active in the Italian American community, but we can't possibly know everyone, and I know there are a lot of people who do stuff behind the scenes, and they are deserving of recognition as well. So if you find yourself thinking of individuals who you think should be brought up here and recognized next year, please be sure to nominate when the time comes. I also want to quickly draw your attention to the calendar in the program. It lists all the great events occurring during Italian Heritage Month in Northeast Ohio, from the Italian Film Festival to cultural events. There are plenty of things you can do to celebrate your Italian heritage this month. Also, on the second floor of City Hall is a banner display which will be up for the month of October. It explores Italian American history in Cleveland through selections from the Western Reserve Historical Society Italian American Collection. I hope you'll be able to take a few minutes to view it today. If not, come back some other day and see it. Before we move on to the honorees, I want to recognize some individuals and organizations who are here with us tonight. There are many Italian clubs who have joined us this evening. I've seen North Italian Club, definitely Italian Sons and Daughters are here, Wycliffe INA is here, Solon. I apologize if I miss you. Cleveland has over 35 Italian American clubs, so we have a wonderful and thriving community, and the committee appreciates your support in coming to this event. So let's have a round of applause for all the Italian clubs. I would also like to take a moment to recognize the elected officials who are here with us this evening. Judge Anthony Russo, Judge Deborah Nicastro, Judge Denise Rini, Judge Joseph Zone, Councilman Polensik, and Councilman Griffin. Thank you for joining us this evening. I also want to take a minute to thank our volunteers. The Greater Cleveland Volunteers are here helping us this evening, as well as members of the Italian American Women's Network. And our volunteer bartender, be sure to go see him, is Ronnie Etzo from Our Lady of Mount Carmel Church. And now I would like to introduce to you Rose Zatello, who is the treasurer of our committee.
Thank you, Pam, Mayor, Father. As you know, this is our 13th annual event, and we're so blessed that we have sponsors that step up year after year to help underwrite this event, and I'd like to take a moment to recognize them. This year, our caterer is being sponsored by Order Sons and Daughters of America, is our lead sponsor for the dinner and wine. And our caterer this year is Angelo's of Nido Italia. Our other sponsors are the Fiorito family of Fiorito Funeral Services, Italian Cultural Garden, Southwest Italian American Club, Justinian Forum of Northeast Ohio, Italian American Brotherhood Club, Downtown Cleveland Alliance, and the Northern Ohio Italian American Foundation. Thank you.
Next on our agenda, we have remarks from Basil Russo, who is the national president of the Italian Sons and Daughters of America. Basil couldn't be here, regrettably, with us this evening, but he sent a message that he asked me to read to you. I'm sorry I cannot be present at this evening's awards event, but my wife Pat and I could not pass up the opportunity to be in Atlanta, Georgia, to watch 3 of our grandchildren film a scene which will appear in our son's next movie, Avengers 4. However, the Italian Sons and Daughters of America is well represented here this evening by our Ohio District Vice President, Marie Frank, and a busload of our national officers and members who attend this event every year. The ISDA is pleased to be the new lead financial sponsor of this wonderful opening ceremony for Cleveland Italian American Heritage Month, which showcases our culture and the many impressive individuals who have contributed to that culture. The ISDA offers its congratulations to this year's outstanding honorees, and we thank the dedicated members of this committee who make this great event possible, including Chairperson Pamela D'Orazio Dean, that's me, and its honorary chairpersons, Mayor Frank Jackson and Councilman Matt Zone. Let's have a round of applause for Basil Russo and the ISDA. The honorees for this evening are outstanding for the success they've achieved through their hard work and excellent service to the community. They shed a positive light on Italian American culture and give us all something to aspire to. Please join me in watching a short video of the 2018 Cleveland Italian American Heritage Month honorees.
I really became interested in learning about my Italian roots at a young age. Unfortunately, my last grandparent died when I was only 14 years old, but I was able to hear some stories of what life was like in the old country growing up. He came from Sicily. My other grandfather came from an area near Naples. But just hearing about how they grew up in the Italian countryside and leaving that beautiful countryside to come to America was just an amazing risk from my standpoint. And I was able to go back and visit in the early 80s to see what the old country looked like. And I was about the same age as my grandparents when they came to America, so I was just amazed that they were able to do that trip at such a young age and take the risk, like I said, that they did. I'm very humbled by this. It's a great honor. There's so many other candidates who had made major contributions to culture in the Cleveland area. But obviously, it's like I say, very humbling to be, and also to follow in the footsteps with some of the other members of my Italian genealogy group, Pamela D'Orazio Dean and also Connie Sanchetta, who are past recipients of the award here. And so to earn this distinction and follow in their footsteps is really heartwarming to me. I think, most importantly to me, I think doing genealogy is something that I would strongly encourage for many Italian Americans. You find out, you can confirm some stories that maybe your grandparents relayed to you to see if they're actually true or not. And I think, importantly, I think you see it's the essence of who you are. So I think, just doing that, and I look at myself more as a facilitator for that group, because so many people, we have some people that are just a great group of people that I work with, and you find out there's some connections made. Some people might be distant relatives that they weren't aware of until they met. Connections coming from the same towns. So it's really a great group, and I'm glad I was able to be the opportunity just to facilitate it. But like I say, it was really the work of others that made it possible. The advice I would give to young Italian Americans as it pertains to discovering your Italian roots is to get started early. Because I think a lot of people get started with genealogy at an older age, when they have more time, when they're retired. But unfortunately, at that time, a lot of the people that you need to talk to and hear the stories of your heritage unfortunately are no longer with us. So I would say that's very important for them to get started early, talk to as many people as you can, join our group, because we're always looking for new people. We work together and can help you with your looking through your Italian heritage. The one word that I would use to describe an Italian American is probably genuine. Because at least in my family, when somebody was sad, you knew they were sad. When they were happy, you knew they were happy. And when they're mad, I think you could say you knew they were mad. And that was usually followed by a wooden spoon spanking if they were mad. So I think the genuine, it's hard to distill it down to just one word, but I think genuine would be the word I would use to describe Italian Americans.
My Italian-American heritage has influenced me in a number of ways, certainly with family, a large family, extended family, cousins, always surrounded by family, always connected, and always connected into the rest of those families, interconnected into the rest of the Italian community. Certainly it has influenced my taste in food, which I think every Italian can relate to. And I think it has given me an appreciation of hard work, and certainly knowing what my grandparents went through as they came to this country, and that sort of influenced as well how I think about my own experience these days. Receiving this award is a really wonderful recognition of what I've been doing and appreciation of what I'm doing. Currently, with the carillon work I'm doing, most people don't even know somebody's playing. I'm hidden away in the tower. A lot of people don't realize there's somebody up there. So that the sort of recognition really helps, and especially that it's coming from the Italian American community. And it's sort of nice on Sunday mornings. The bells from my tower and the bells from Holy Rosary in Little Italy seem to talk back and forth to each other, and that's sort of an interesting piece too. So I also think it's, being connected to that musical world. I've been doing a lot of other things musically in Cleveland, but that's the one thing at this point really, it's really good to be recognized for. Well, I'm really proud of my work in several ways. I came to Cleveland to study. I came here to go to school at Case Western Reserve, and at this point I think I'm sort of giving back to the community. For me, the teaching music when I did was helping people feel good about themselves through music and the arts. These days I've retired from the teaching, but again, as people pass the tower, as music is being played, I get lots of stories back of people who were inspired or moved or had smiled or totally confounded by the music they were hearing. And that's sort of a neat thing about influencing the community and giving back to the community where I've spent a good deal of my life now. For young Italian Americans, I might give the advice of learning the family's stories. I've found that, my parents were the youngest in their families, and I only knew one of my grandparents, and even then only when I was very little. And in learning the stories and what went on and how it connected to their families in Italy and how they integrated into this society, I think it's really inspiring, and especially in these days, to understand that process. And I think to learn the recipes, to learn the history, to keep that heritage alive, and to find inspiration in it. Describing Italian American in one word is a hard thing to do. And I think I've realized because it's diverse. There is no one Italian American type of person. And even you can see, even with the people being honored here, it is in all areas, in business, in government, in public service, in culture, and the arts. And it really represents the kind of contribution that Italian Americans have made to society in general. And I think it also reflects Italy as well. All of the culture, the food, all the way from the north and the style, all the way down through to Sicily, that's been a crossroads to the Mediterranean for centuries. So I think we as Italian Americans represent that diversity in culture.
Well, growing up, with my grandfather and my father as role models, I saw some of the struggles that they went through with trying to acclimate to a new country, especially my grandfather, and I saw that how they dealt with that, and I vowed that as I was growing up to kind of work with that and learn from that, and use the values that they had of integrity and a work ethic to bring to my own life what it would be, what they went through, and how they were successful in the different things that they did. I'm thinking back to growing up and my family, and my effort to try to make them proud of me. I think this is something that my family and my mom and dad will make them very proud of me, and I hope in turn I've been proud of them for so long because of all the work that they've done in raising us. So it was very, very humbling also, in that people in the community, and especially people that have been awarded this award before, think enough of me that I'm deserving of such a thing, and it makes me want to go out and keep doing it, and so that's what I intend to do. When I first joined the Southwest Italian American Club back almost 15 years ago, and getting involved in the club, my dad got me involved along with my brother, and it was kind of a fun thing to do. But then as I realized there was a little bit more important things to do in promoting the culture and getting involved with the community. So one of the first things that I did was I volunteered to write the newsletter for the club that's published in La Gazzetta Italiana every month. And I did that for the next 6 years or so. But what that allowed me to do was to get out and explore the community and what's going on, and trying to promote the club within the community. Learn about the history, learn about the arts, learn about the literature and the music, and kind of use that to pass on to your children down the road and for future generations. Recognize that there's a lot out there that the Italians and Italian Americans have contributed to our society. Well, I guess when I thought about this question, the thing that I came up with one word, but I actually ended up with 2 words. But I guess you can condense it to one word: La Familia, the family. And family is obviously the rock, the anchor, the base that everyone uses when they're growing up, and kind of the focal point as they learn and they're educated into different things.
my Italian American heritage has influenced my life when I was a child. My parents were divorced at a young age, and I spent weekends at my grandparents' house, my nanu and my nana. And just the simplicity of their lives. They were both immigrants from Sicily. The simplicity of their lives, of course, the wonderful food. My grandmother was just a fabulous cook. I mean, the best. And certainly that's where the passion for food and just even though my life is quite complicated, there's still a simple side of my life, and it starts when I get home. On my mother's side, my grandparents were also immigrants, and I think it's a great tribute to both sets of grandfathers. They were extremely hardworking. I start my day very early, and they started their day even earlier. And I think that work ethic really originated from both sets of grandfathers, and it's a tribute to my heritage. What I'm most proud of is the housing that we provide for our residents. On the affordable side of our business, we house elderly, disabled, and families, and they're poor. And how we have the privilege to really make a difference in their lives, to provide them a home that they could call home. So on the personal side, my ministry is True Freedom Ministries, and we're the largest prison ministry in the state of Ohio. So we share the gospel while our inmates are incarcerated, and we give them hope. And some of the inmates are never coming home, so we give them hope, and the goal is always to lead them to the Lord. Hope if they never come home that they'll someday see their Savior, and if they do come home that we're there for them to acclimate them back into society. Just to work hard, work very hard, and just enjoy appreciate your roots and carry on the traditions that are embodied in our Italian heritage of family first. I think gracious, because we will always open our homes. We're, typical Italians. We always have more food than we could ever, enjoy at a meal. If there's two of us, we're cooking for four. If there's four of us, we're cooking for six. And our homes are always open, and just to carry on the traditions. And I think one of the, for most Italians is family dinners, family time.
Well, my Italian-American heritage has influenced my life with family. I'm a very strong believer in family. As kids growing up, 50s and 60s, all the family, all aunts and uncles and cousins, we all visited Grandma's house for dinner, both sides. And now that, aunts and uncles and grandmothers and parents are gone, we still try to keep that tradition going with my family. Receiving the award, it's a great honor to be recognized by the people around me for the things that I've done for the Italian community. I'm honored, but I never expected it. The volunteerism that I do is because I enjoy working with other people for a common cause. I'm most proud of my work or volunteer work because of friendships that I've built over time. I've been in business for over 40 years, and I value my customers as friends. I've worked for these people for the 40 years. I've worked for friends of theirs. I've worked for their children now. That kind of gives away my age, but I value those friendships. And in the volunteerism, again, you're building relationships with friends for everybody that has kind of the same commitment for that same cause. The advice I give to young Italian Americans, I'd say get involved in your heritage, be proud of your heritage. I'll give you one example. One of the areas that I'm involved in is the Italian Cultural Garden. My name was given to Joyce Mariani, who is the director, about 6 years ago. And the garden needed help because Gino, the fellow that was working on the garden, was getting up in age and he just couldn't handle all of it anymore. So they came to me and said, could you help out? I did a tour of the garden, and by touring it and looking at it, I realized this is more than just a garden. I mean, that's my profession, but it's more than a garden. It was honoring all of the people, Italian people in the arts and sciences, all of the people that built that, the hundreds of people that labored to build that. I mean, the stonework there is just phenomenal in the garden. So that was my involvement. I decided to put together a plan to maintain the garden to honor these people. Describing Italian-American heritage in one word, I'd say, is pride. My grandparents were very proud, hardworking Italian people. When they came to this country, they were very proud to be Italian-American. They passed that along to my parents, who were very proud also to be Italian-American. And them growing up in those Italian families, they kept us involved in Italian events. Every year there were things that we went to as children to these events. I hope that that inheritance of pride carries through to my family. I try to do that. I have them all involved in all kinds of things, all the things that I do.
You know, my Italian-American heritage has greatly influenced every decision-making that I do. Centered at the middle of all my decision-making is how does it affect the community and the family and the community that I'm from. Growing up around Our Lady of Mount Carmel Parish, going to a Catholic grade school, a Catholic high school, practicing all of those holidays and traditions, and passing down those traditions to now my son. My wife and I continue to practice those. Has really enriched my life. You know, receiving this honor, I'm humbled. I'm actually a little upset because, you know, I founded this organization and it's taken me 13 years to say I never wanted to be honored until I was no longer in public life, but I feel humbled and honored that my peers thought so much to nominate me, and I lost out this time because I reluctantly said, yes, you could recognize me, but it's a high honor and something I will treasure the rest of my life. There are two things that I'm probably most proud of the work that I've done in the city of Cleveland and greater Cleveland. You know, to serve a community where I was born and raised, to be the local council person, to affect the change of the community in a positive manner has been most rewarding. To see now that the Gordon Square neighborhood is the hottest neighborhood in the city of Cleveland, that people really want to move and live there. The Our Lady of Mount Carmel Parish that I'm a member of and a parishioner is strong and thriving. But also I've been able to gain a lot of experience in that position, and probably last year was the pinnacle of my political career when I was able to serve as the president of the National League of Cities, representing all mayors and council members in the United States. And I know when I look back on time, that will be two of my most proudest accomplishments. You know, the advice I always give to young Italian Americans is learn from your peers, learn from your elders, and give back. You know, that was always required growing up in our household, and it started with our grandparents and our parents. They wanted to make sure that their children continually gave back to their community. I'm second youngest of 9 kids, so by default being the youngest, I was always forced to do things I really didn't want to do. But I was thankful that my older brothers and sisters dragged me along, and my mom always wanted us to volunteer, and being a youth mentor and a youth coach has really been a rewarding experience for me. So I tell those young people, you need to get involved, serve on a board, be a volunteer coach, help out at a school, and make a difference in your community. The first word that pops in my head is familia. Everything that we do as Italian American is such reverence for the elders, for the grandparents, for the parents, and that sense of community is important. And it doesn't even have to be the community of the family unit. It's the community you live in. It's the city you live in. And if you treat people and all people with respect, it's going to come back tenfold. And so familia is the word that I choose.
We have some fantastic honorees this year with some great messages about what it means to be Italian American. I think the fact that there's so many of us here today celebrating together, praying together, breaking bread together speaks a lot about how special our community is. So let's have another round of applause for our wonderful honorees. So our honorees are here with us tonight, even though you saw them on the video. So we're going to bring them up one at a time to present their award and have a photo opportunity with Mayor Jackson here. And I'm also going to say a few words about each of the honorees. So if you would, when I call your name, please come up to the, I guess it would be the right of the stage, and get your photo with Mayor Jackson, and then come up on the stage with me. So Tom Cirincione. So Tom is being recognized this evening for his work in promoting Italian genealogy. Tom co-founded the Cleveland chapter of Point, which means pursuing our Italian names together, but it's now known as CHOW, Cleveland Italian Ancestry Organization. He has served as the president since its founding in 2008. Tom has researched his own family heritage to 6 generations and has lectured to local genealogy groups on Italian family history research and the use of newspapers in genealogy. For the last 15 years, Tom has been a volunteer assistant at the Family History Center in Westlake. Although born and raised in Schenectady, New York, Tom has become an integral part of the Cleveland Italian American community. Is he up here? So on behalf of the Cleveland Italian American Heritage Committee, I want to thank you for your work in promoting and preserving Italian heritage and culture. George Legero, our honoree for the arts. George has had a long and distinguished career in music, serving on faculty at Case Western Reserve University and the Cleveland Music School Settlement, and playing in many choirs and ensembles. His most outstanding achievement is that for the last 45 years, he has served as the carillonneur at the Church of the Covenant for University Circle, playing on the tower's 47 Dutch bronze bells for various events and celebrations. He assisted in the founding of the Friends of the McGaffin Carillon in University Circle in 1984 to assure the preservation of the bells. George came to Cleveland 50 years ago from Connecticut to study at Case Western Reserve University, and we are grateful he has become a part of our Italian American community here in Cleveland. On behalf of the Cleveland Italian American Heritage Committee, I congratulate you for excelling in the arts. Robert A. Lapucci, our awardee in the individual category. Yeah. Okay. We chose to honor Rob Lapucci in the individual category because Rob has served the Italian American community through many different avenues and organizations, and does so diligently and with little fanfare. Rob has served as Vice President, President, and Trustee of the Southwest Italian American Club, and currently serves as Chair of the Public Relations, Programming, and Bylaws Committees. He launched the SWEAC newsletter and served as writer and editor, and was named SWEAC Man of the Year when he was Vice President. Rob has also participated in the Abruzzo Earthquake Fund Foundation, the Italian American Cultural Foundation, the Italian Cultural Garden, the Cleveland Italian Film Festival, Italian Heritage Night with the Lake County Captains, Radio Italia, and the Cleveland Italian American Heritage Committee. On behalf of the Cleveland Italian American Heritage Committee, I want to thank you for sharing your time and talents so selflessly with the community. Congratulations. Frank T. Sanito is our honoree in the corporate category. Frank T. Sanito has distinguished himself in his business in the corporate arena. Frank is the CEO of the Millennia Companies, a vertically integrated, diverse company that owns, develops, and manages over 30,000 apartment units across 25 states. He founded the company to provide affordable housing communities which residents could proudly call home. The Millennia Companies corporate office is in Cleveland at Key Tower and employs over 1,200 employees across the United States. Recent acquisitions include Key Center, Public Square North, and the Statler. Frank and his wife, Melise, also lead the Millennia Hospitality Group, which consists of restaurants such as Lock Keepers, the Marble Room, and Il Venetian. One of the endeavors he is most proud of is being the founding board member and chairman of the board for True Freedom Ministries, a nonprofit organization which ministers to incarcerated individuals and prepares them for re-entry into the community. On behalf of the Cleveland Italian American Heritage Committee, I commend you for your excellence in the corporate arena and thank you for your service and dedication to the community.
It's an honor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mike Spina is our honoree in the small business category. Mike founded Spina Landscaping Contractors in 1975. The company does residential landscaping design and installation. Mike selflessly donates the resources of his company and his time for two very important causes in the Italian American community. For the last 12 years, Mike has led and organized the crew of volunteers who works 18 hours a day to make the trash disappear from and clean Mayfield Road and the Holy Rosary Churchyard during the Feast of the Assumption. That's quite a job. 6 years ago, he put together a group of Italian landscapers that regularly work to clean, mulch, plant, and repair the Italian cultural garden. On behalf of the Italian American Heritage Committee, I thank you for selflessly volunteering your time, talents, and energies to our community. And last, but certainly not least, is our fearless leader, Councilman Matt Zone, who is being honored as a public servant. Councilman Matt Zone took his seat on Cleveland City Council in 2001, fulfilling a legacy started by his father, Councilman Michael J. Zone, who served from 1960 until his death in 1974, and Matt's mother, Mary, who finished Michael's term and served until 1981. As councilman, Matt has championed the development and rebirth of the Gordon Square Arts District and helped establish the Cleveland Italian American Heritage Ceremony in 2006. He is recognized nationally, regionally, and locally as a leader on environmental and arts and cultural issues. Matt serves as the immediate past president of the National League of Cities and is a former president of the Northeast Ohio City Council Association. Matt is a proud member of Our Lady of Mount Carmel West Parish, the Northern Ohio Italian American Foundation, Italian Sons and Daughters of America, Our Lady of Mount Carmel Lodge number 211, and Cercolo Italo Americano Corinese Club. On behalf of the Cleveland Italian American Heritage Committee, I thank you, Matt, for the many ways you have served our community. So, Matt, you're supposed to give the closing remarks. Yeah.
So every word I said on that video was true. I was a little upset, more than a little upset, when the committee wanted to recognize me, because there are so many worthy people in our community who deserve this recognition. And I do feel humbled and blessed to be recognized this year, but really today is all about all of you. And thank you for making our ethnic group what I feel is an amazing part of Cleveland's community, Cleveland's Renaissance. My cousin Joe Zone and myself and our wives had the opportunity to travel to Italy this summer and spend 16 days there and met with family members, and it was an emotional experience. And so we're gonna continue to do this every year in our house, in your house. And please, next year, as Pamela said, consider nominating somebody. We really want to recognize that unsung hero. So thank you all for being here. As we go to close this program, we have a fabulous meal prepared for all of you, and we'll usher you into there, so just remain at your seats. But we're going to close appropriately and bless our bellies before we partake in the food. And so at this point, I'd ask Father Polito to come up and give us a closing blessing.
Oh, Lord our God, we come together and we thank you, for we are filled with pride and with joy as we hear the stories those that have shared with us. Remind us of so many shadows of those who are family, journeyed to this country and built in each of us a joy around their tables as they nourished us with their love, with their correction, with their inspiration, with their direction. We remember them as we come together and celebrate this joy. Bless the food and the friends and all of those who have been honored tonight, to continue to inspire generations of proud and joyful individuals who reach out their hands in service to help our city be built with a vision of pride and joy for everyone. May the power of that gift nourish and strengthen us with this food, with this friendship, with your care. We ask this through the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Have a blessed night.